On episode 3 of Would I Rebuy This Guitar Again, I'm going to talk about a guitar that's not from one of the big three brands. The guitar in question is a made in Japan ESP Horizon 3. It was one of the earlier E-II versions with the kind of different shaped headstock, not so pointy. Now for the better part of 2 years, I would say this guitar was my main guitar for anything that needed gain or an aggressive lead tone on it. It had Duncan's, I think a 59 and a JB stock in it, the Floyd Rose, which I'll get to later, a beautiful ebony board on it, locking tuners. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous instrument. Unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of video of me playing this guitar, as I primarily used it as a studio weapon. I don't think I ever gigged with it. I just used it to do what I needed it to do on record, and then when I was playing out live, I basically just used a telly. That's what I used for years playing out live. This guitar played like an absolute dream. It was a really thin neck, and now that I've kind of gotten used to bigger necks, I don't know how I would get on with it. I just remember at the time I was really into thin necks when I bought it, and primarily playing thin neck guitars. But it was so easy to play. The ebony was gorgeous on the fretboard. I love the aesthetic of the guitar. I think it's like that perfect in-between of that kind of aggressive metal looking guitar, but classy enough with the appointments on it and the finish where you could kind of use it for anything and you wouldn't look out of place on a stage. The thing that surprised me the most of this guitar was the clean tone with the coil split. I actually like the clean tone coil split better, from what I remember, than the ones on either of my PRS guitars. It just had a little bit more clarity to it. I really, really enjoyed that. So my wife was surprised too at times. She would think I would be playing a Fender and I would just be messing around with the ESP. So if I can fool her, I mean, I could probably fool other people on record if I were to use it for that. But sadly, I sold this guitar in March of this year, right when everything started to go down and the panic set in of not being able to work, not being able to gig, my wife losing her job, me losing all of my income from the business. It was a scary time, and I wanted to keep my Telecaster and my Strat, which have both been sold since. And I said, well, you know what? I have some money saved, but I'll take the extra cushion while I get it. And I didn't know if people were going to have money or be wanting to buy guitars during this. This was like right at the very beginning. So I thought, you know what? The ESP, I'll sell it, and that'll be the one that I replace later. You used to be able to get a guitar like this for between $1,000 and $1,500, but now it seems like you're going to get one of the LTD versions, or you're going to get one that has the more aggressive headstock, which I can't do it. It's so out of character for me. It's a personal preference thing. It's like I don't like a lot of Jackson guitars or Ibanez that have the same kind of pointy headstocks on them either. It's just, nah, it's not my style. The annoying part is, the majority of their guitars do have the pointy weapon-like headstock. And there's one right now, I'm going to put it on here. It's gorgeous. It's like a purple to blue fade, and as you can tell, I love both of those colors. I think the guitar is gorgeous. It would do exactly what I would want. But the headstock, and I know this seems so fickle. I know I would get tired of it. I know I would, so I can't do it. And it's just so frustrating that such a little thing can hang you up on a guitar, and it sounds so petty and fickle. Yet, when you're spending that kind of money on something, I guess you kind of have to get exactly what you want, right? But that being said, I really love this guitar. I miss this guitar. This is a guitar that, to answer the question just bluntly without stating it, I would absolutely rebuy this guitar again. If I could pay what I originally paid for it, or what I sold it for in March. But it was a rare finish. It was so nice and just so smooth and just so classy looking. And it did everything really well. And now I would like to compare it to the CE24. I think that would be a very, very interesting comparison. Because as far as build quality goes, I think they're exactly the same. They're on par with each other. But the ESP was a neck through design and had the Duncans in it, and this one is a bolt-on, and obviously has the PRS pickups in it, but they remind me of each other a lot. Even the neck on the PRS reminds me of the ESP, and I think that's part of the reason why I grew so quickly to bond with the CE24. And I know I focus mainly on the big three brands here with Gibson, Fender, and PRS, but this guitar was an absolute gem. It was so good. It was so good. It felt great to play. It sounded great. It was gorgeous. I had no complaints with the guitar. Like I said, I didn't know what was happening at the time and I panicked. In hindsight, I didn't need to sell that guitar. I mean, it is what it is. I can't go back and unchange it, but, you know, we all kind of had our own reactions to the ever-changing world and how quickly everything kind of happened. And that guitar was a casualty to my gut instinct. So it is what it is. But overall, highly recommend these guitars. I think people need to give that brand a bigger chance in this country, because I follow a lot of bands in Japan and they play everything from them out there, from semi-hollow 335 style guitars that you can't get here, to Strats, to Tellys, to the more aggressive guitars, Les Pauls. They make such good products. And I've had a few of the low ends. I had a EC256, one of the LTDs. I think I got it for like $150. Wow, I wish I could get that at that price right now. But it was all right. The fretwork was expected of a cheap guitar, and the pickups were really bad. Not a fan at all. But the actual construction itself was top quality. But most people don't go much further than that. Or the people that do in this country, I feel like they're going to stop at the EC1000 kind of price range. I very rarely see the actual E2s or the full-on ESPs, which are way more expensive now, being played out. And I think part of that is that I don't follow a lot of metal music. However, like I said, they're not one-trick ponies. They are much more versatile than that. So I think if you get a chance and you see one in person, you should pick it up, and I think you should give it a try. They're a really good brand, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. So yes, I would absolutely rebuy this guitar. I don't know, I guess let me know, is there like a feature or an aesthetic on a guitar that puts you off so much that you will not buy a guitar if it has it, regardless of how it plays or sounds? Or am I alone in this boat? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. If you could leave me a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the shop. The link's down below for everything we got in our inventory available for purchase right now. No shipping, no sales tax, all factored in when you buy directly from me. So until tomorrow's video, guys, thanks for checking it out. We'll see you then.